Hello everyone, welcome back to Total Football Talks. We're going to look at all the latest news and transfer news coming out of Manchester United. And as always, we have oodles upon oodles of news. We just keep going. We just keep rolling down the hill like a snowball, getting bigger and bigger and bigger all the time. So the top stories are, we're going to look at Manchester United being interested in a new striker. There's some news on a new goalkeeper, another new goalkeeper, but a slightly older goalkeeper, so we'll look at that. News on Antony, news on Marcus Rashford, and a little bit of news on the academy players, Harry Amas, and why he chose Manchester United, and a little bit on Seka Kone, maybe why he hasn't broke through yet. It's match day tomorrow, play Bournemouth, and it looks like even Dallow's out, we know that, but Jaden Camison and Bentito Matado are two young kids that could come into the team and could get some minutes. We'll have a quick look at that at the very end. But this is your 10-minute roundup. I'm Keith, the host of the Total Football Talk, and can't get my words out today. And we thank you very much for joining me. If you're enjoying the content, hit the old subscribe button, bottom right hand corner of the screen. Thumbs up would be absolutely magic. If you could do that too, it would really help me out. But let's crack on with the top story, and that is Manchester United are keeping tabs on the Atalanta striker Mateo Retegui, and they could make a move for him. The striker is reportedly valued at €60 million, and United certainly have the finances to make the deal happen, according to caught offside. I'd love to know where we're getting this extra 30 million from, because we know that Delap is our first choice. So yes, that's where that one's going. We know that Cunha is another player that we're heavily keen on, and I think this particular one is this particular striker from Atalanta is a backup. So Rasmus, we already have good relationships with Atalanta because we bought Rasmus, we bought Amad Diallo from them. We know that we're looking at Edison. And now we're looking at a fourth potential player from Atalanta. We do like doing business with Atalanta, especially recently. So what do you guys think out there? Do you think, he's got 32 goal involvement across all competitions in the Italian league. He has been doing very well there. I have not seen a lot of him, so I cannot go in and say I know anything about him. I don't even know what type of striker he is. All I can think is that if he fits Ruben Amorim's system, then Ruben Amorim must, and it's probably him and Jason Wilcox probably have a fair idea that maybe he's in the mold of Delap. He's slightly older than that Delap. He's coming in at 26. So he is on that sort of age bracket where we're right on the cusp of maybe going over the ages of players that we'd actually like. But he has experience. He's apparently done well with Atalanta. I'd need to look into him a little bit further. That news was just coming out just today. So interesting to see where this one goes. Now, this was another one that came out recently today, and it's Manchester United are interested in veteran goalkeeper Jan Oblak from Atletico Madrid, and we'd be willing to sell him for €25 million. €25 million for Jan Oblak. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that's a good deal? Do you think it's too expensive? Because he is probably coming to the latter stages of his career right now. I personally think he's a brilliant goalkeeper. I think if we could get him, I'd love to see him come. I've just got a feeling that we're not going to spend €25 million on a goalkeeper who's coming to the end of his contract. If you look at when we got Van der Sar, he was probably around a similar type of age, but he was absolutely brilliant. He was with Manchester United 4 or 5 years, had a phenomenal career with us. Won everything, and I would love to see. I'd love to see Oblak come in, but I just don't think this is going to be a deal that Manchester United are actually going to do anytime soon. But I would love to be proven wrong. Now, this is the reason why Victor Oshimen won't be coming to Manchester United, because Fabrizio Romano is explaining that no English club is ready to pay him the £10.2 million salary that he's looking for. I think he is looking for this particular salary because this is his last contract. He wants a big payout. This is the reason why I believe he'll end up in Saudi. He looks like he's going to be, he was interested in Saudi last year, but it all fell through. Went to Galatasaray, had a brilliant season, scored 30 goals, maybe 30 plus goals. He's brilliant season for them, absolutely flying. But I think English clubs will be interested in him, but I just think the wages are too high. The demands that he is looking for are just not going to be, respected by any English club at the minute, the way PSR and FFP is working. So I think a lot of clubs are going to miss out on him. He may go to the Saudi Pro League, and that is a bit of a blow for Manchester United, because for me, he would have been a really good striker with experience to have brought in. I struggle with it. I get it. It's a risk if you bring him in, but it's a risk bringing Delap in because he's young and inexperienced despite having one good Premier League season. This lad's got a lot more experience under his belt, and would do very well at Manchester United, I believe. But I could be wrong. So this is what is being said about Antony. Real Betis are preparing a season-long loan for him. A season loan for him next year. They're currently paying 84% of his wages at the minute. I think if we do another loan deal, we can only do a loan deal with obligation to buy, and there can't be any backdoors in this. There can't be a Jadon Sancho backdoor where they can give us him back for 5 million and we have to suffer having to try and get rid of him ourselves. No buyback clause, no anything, no hidden sort of pieces in the contract. You either take him for another season and then you pay with the obligation to buy, and that's it, or you pay for him this year because apparently he's been brilliant. They've loved to bang on how well he's done this year. He's had a very, very good season. He continues to impresses game after game. If you really want him, you'll find the money and you'll find a way to pay his wages, or you'll get him to drop his wage demand slightly, and you'll get a transfer fee that is equivalent to what Manchester United want. I think that's the only way forward for Antony now, and I would like to see this deal be kind of worked on and done quicker rather than later, because the longer this drags on, the less money that we will have available to us to bring in the players that we need to replace him, because we've already sent Rashford out, Antony out, Malacia out. We didn't replace any, we didn't bring anyone in, so we do need to be able to do that, and by selling these players is the only way we're going to do it. And this is what Fabrizio Romano had to say about Antony and Rashford. What I'm hearing from my sources is that Marcus Rashford and Antony will not be expected to play for Manchester United again next summer, which is kind of news to my ears. I want to see that Marcus Rashford can be moved on. I want to see that Antony can be moved on. I want us to be able to bring the funds in that we need to desperately try and make this transfer window work for Ruben Amorim, because he needs it, and he really needs it to flourish very, very quickly. Otherwise, he's going to struggle. Starting next year could be a nightmare, and I dread to think of where we'll end up being. So this is what Harry Amos, his agent, had to say on him joining Manchester United. Harry did have two other choices in the Premier League, two big clubs, and now I know a lot more. I wish they'd come to the table, but already at the time, Harry was clear that he wanted to join Manchester United. Harry Amos had a clear vision, and I think that's brilliant. He had a will and a desire to play for this club, and he's come in and he's played very well in his first few games. I'm not going to sort of overpraise him. I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon saying he's the next best left back in the world. He's got a lot to learn. He's done very well in the first few games he's come in. He's probably run off adrenaline. I hope the kid carries on doing what he's doing, keeps his feet on the ground. He's got a lot of potential. He will make mistakes. The fan base will probably give him grief for it. But, I just think there's a very, very excellent player in there. And now it's important to figure out what the next move is for him. Does he need a loan move, or does he need does he decide to stay and fight first place next year, because he's going to be fighting against Diego Leon, who's going to be coming in from Paraguay in the summer when we go off on tour. And then we're also going to have Luke Shaw, who's just come back, although I think Luke Shaw is going to end up playing on left centre back, and you've also got Dorgu, who can play on the left side as well. So it's going to be a tough way for him to break in, but I think if he stays, which I'd like him to do, he has every opportunity to fight for his place, and if we have European football, even better. He'll have more games to try and steal his opportunity back for future games. But if we don't have European football, he may then need to go out on a loan. And this is what Travis Binion was saying about Sekikone, and probably the reason why he hasn't been integrated into the first team just yet. Initially, it was around basic English, but recently it's been more weighted around the football and specific language that we will use. So specific terminology he needs to learn in English so his teammates can communicate with him. Travis Binion is talking about there's a bit of a language barrier. Obviously, there's the problem, but he's dealing with a new country. He's over here by himself. He's got a lot to contend with already. He's already had a setback. He had an injury earlier on in the season, but he seems to have got over that. Had a brilliant game in the reserves the other night, from what I can gather. 4-all, scored an absolute screamer from the edge of the box. Has a lot of potential, but I think they're just kind of nurturing him slowly, and I think it'll be next season. I thought he might have got some game time this season, but I'm not sure whether he will. Maybe it'll be next season he does start to break through. But there's a lot of talent in this kid. He's got a lot of things going for him. you know, and I would love to see him come in and flourish after he's had that transitional period to come in and you know, find his feet, especially in the under 21s, which he has been doing. So, guys, that's your 10-minute roundup of news for today. Thank you very much for joining me. Please hit the old subscribe button. Please hit the give me a thumbs up. Subscribe's bottom right hand corner of the screen. Thank you for everyone who's been sort of dipping into the old comments. Get into the comments. Let me know your thoughts on Oblak. On anything that we've talked about so far. Antony, Marcus Rashford, the striker from Atalanta. Do you think any of these players, do you think the ingoings and the outgoings are actually going to happen properly this season? And that let's hope that Ruben Amorim does get a good transfer window. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks very much for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow.